Hi friends, welcome back to the Saffron Box. I'm Yamini Sharma, and today, continuing ahead with the House Lord series, I'll be talking about the placement of the sixth lord of your birth chart. So we'll see where does the sixth lord go, what kind of effects does that placement bring to you, right? So for this, you need to refer to your birth chart, your Janam Patrika, and see the planet which is governing the sixth house of your birth chart. Now, when we talk about the sixth house, there are a few important things which we need to keep in mind. See, the sixth house is considered a Trik Bhav, Dhustana, so a malefic house, so to say. But at the same point in time, it is also part of the Upche houses. So the 3, 6, 10, 11, these four houses are the Upche Bhavas. So it shows difficulties, but it shows growth also. So, in short, if I have to say, what does the sixth house stand for? It shows how do you grow through what you go through, right? So, there could be obstacles, there could be difficulties, hurdles in your path, and they could be of various natures. It could be a medical problem which you keep facing, something related to a legal issue, or various other difficulties like too much of a competition in life, too many obstacles, too many hurdles. But then success comes when you go through this, when you tackle these problems in your life, right? So the sixth lord's placement is very important to understand because it also shows you what will you fight up with in this lifetime, in this particular birth. What are your challenges? What are you going to fight through to grow in life, to become a better person as such, to grow in all aspects of your life, right? So the sixth house teaches us lessons in success and failure, and by the end of it all, it shows if we are taking the lessons in the right spirit, if we are understanding what is coming up ahead in front of us, we are able to become better human beings. It grows us for the better, right? So that is what the sixth lord will also signify. Wherever the sixth lord will go, it will show the area of difficulty or challenges, obstacles which you face in life. It again depends. You also have to see how is the sixth lord placed. Is it in a friendly sign, inimical sign, the conjunctions, the aspects, and various other layers have to be seen later. But this is a very basic placement which you need to see in the first go when you see a chart, right? So I'll start with the first house. Sixth house lord, where it goes into the first house or the lagna. What are the effects? This shows that your battle, your a constant fight or struggle is with yourself. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is you are fighting health issues. So something which is already within you. Maybe you are going through a patch of bad health, or you have a weak constitution as such. So this could show indications of bad health, or bad health during childhood. So when you started your life, when you took birth, when you were a small child, you were going through difficulties in terms of health. You could have been born in difficult circumstances. So maybe your family's atmosphere was tense. Your family was going through some crisis. There was some crisis when you were born. It could be of any kind. It could be a medical, legal, financial, any kind of a crisis which you were, the crisis was there at the time of your birth. There was some problem. This is something which I have seen. Usually such natives, when they were born, just around their birth, just a few days before or after, there has been some major health issue with a family member, or there's been some major financial problem, right? So I'm not saying that you are lucky or unlucky, but I'm just saying that this is a major there's a major event which happens around the time of birth. Then this could also show your maternal side is, you are influenced by their maternal side. So your mother's family, you're very well connected with your mother's family. You also take up interests in these fields, where problem solving is required, where daily challenges are required, like doctors, lawyers, etc. So you could take up a field of study also like this, or your profession could be such. Your daily routine is always tight to be managed. So managing your daily routine, managing your daily work is a challenge. So you face competition, you face hurdles on a day to day basis. Also, this shows that the sixth lord, when it comes to the lagna, it shows that the constant improvement which you have to seek is in your personality. So you have to work towards better health, you have to work towards a better personality for yourself. So your struggle, all your ups and downs, you are responsible for it. You have to go through them. So your all the struggle lies within, right? So where do you struggle? You struggle with yourself, your health, your mental health, your physical health. And the best way to channelize this particular energy is to work on yourself constantly, keep yourself busy and keep improving on something or the other. So constantly acquire new skills. This will be a very good way to channelize this energy, or rather reduce the maleficence of this particular energy, right? Then the sixth lord in the second house. The sixth lord in the second house shows that uh, there are difficulties in the families, there are difficulties in the financial growth which you are aiming at. Though from the the sixth lord, when it goes to the second house, it is going in the Artha trine itself. It is going from its house, it is going to a trikona in the same trine also. But there are difficulties within the family, financial struggles, and growth will come after your family goes through some financial struggles. There could also be a tendency to take up a lot of heavy loans, debts within the family. Or when you were born, your family was under heavy debt. This is also a major thing which I have seen in many charts. Then this also shows that there's a lot of argument or conflict, verbal fights within the family, or you yourself have a tendency to pick up fights within the family. So the domestic environment or so-called family relations are not very good because of people talking rough, right? Or the speech could be a little rough. So the way to manage this energy is to control your speech, control the way you react within your family. The second house also shows food habits, your food intake. So when the sixth lord goes to the second house, it could show that you deal with food on a daily basis, in terms of, you could be employed in the food industry, you could be working in a restaurant, in a hotel. So food is, apart from your daily intake of food, food is a very integral part of the way you're working, of the way you are accumulating wealth. So you could be dealing with food items also. Sixth lord also shows difficulties in terms of your health. So this could show that the mouth region, the second house shows the mouth region, anything which is below your, the lower part of your face. So there are problems related to your mouth, there are problems related to your oral cavity, teeth issues, dental problems keep coming up, which constantly require medical attention. So this could be a weak area in your body, right? You also have to be careful about the kind of food which you eat. So if the moment you let go and get into bad food habits, eat unhealthy food or stale food, this could, become a vicious cycle. You come back for medical attention. So for this particular placement, a very good diet, healthy food habits are definitely recommended. It takes away a lot of maleficence which comes with this particular placement. Then, sixth lord in the third house. When the sixth lord goes into the third house, it is coming to a Kendra from itself. It is also coming to another Upchay Bhava. So, this could show somebody who has a natural tendency to fight, is very resilient, knows how to tackle problems, hurdles in life. The third house is a Parakram Bhava. So when the sixth lord goes to the third house, it shows that all, your daily routine requires a lot of courage, requires dealing with a lot of competition and beating obstacles on a daily basis. It could be physical obstacles also. So this could show somebody who is in the field of sports, who constantly requires a lot of outflow of physical energy. And these people generally do not lose courage. They do not lose heart easily. They keep up, they keep floating, they keep going towards their goals. So a very strong sense of resilience they have. And the harder they work, the more growth they see. Right? So this could show a very courageous person, a very brave person. Fearlessness can be seen from here, provided there is no other affliction. And if this particular planet, the sixth lord, is a natural malefic also, and it goes into the third house, then it's a very good placement for people who are in these fields, sports or heavy physical work, heavy physical labor. Daily running around is required. And the best part to the best way to tackle this energy is to let go of your physical energy, maintain a good exercise regime. So spend half an hour, 40 minutes every day towards exercising. Burn out the excessive physical energy so that you don't pick up fights. Because this placement could also show that this person is very prone to picking up fights with their siblings, with their neighbors, with their friends. So people whom they interact with on a daily basis, people who are in the closed circuit. So this could show somebody who's a natural fighter. So if they are not able to channelize their energy well, they can pick up fights. This is also not a very good placement for having younger siblings. So there could be a chance that you don't have any younger siblings, or your younger siblings keep bad health, or your relations with your younger siblings are not very good. Right? So as I said, a very good way is to let out the physical energy. Then the sixth lord in the fourth house. When the sixth lord goes to the fourth house, it is gone 11 places from itself. But for the sixth house, it's kind of okay, but for the fourth house, uh, the desire, the happiness which you were to derive from the fourth house can get marred, can get reduced. Why? Because the Trik Bhava Lord has come to the Kendra Sthana, or your Sukh Sthana as such. So your, there could be litigations, or there could be fights related to land, property, conveyance matters. There could be some family dispute which is carrying on for a very long time regarding possession of land or ancestral property also, in case the eighth house is also involved, in case the second house is also involved in some way. So this shows disturbance in mental peace. This shows a lot of running around to acquire land and property. Also shows health issues for your mother. So your mother could be going through recurring health problems, or your when you were born, your mother was in a very was in a phase of bad health, was very sick. Your mother could be somebody who's in the legal profession, who's in the medical profession, who's dealing with these things. She was a very hardworking mother, so life for your mother becomes a little difficult, either because of health or because of other issues. Then you have to constantly struggle to build up a house, to upgrade from a smaller house to a bigger house, so you are in debt. So these days everybody takes up loans, but this could be, this could show a person who takes up loans which are very big, which are very heavy for him to pay off in time, or they face financial issues. There's a financial crunch when they have to buy a house because they have taken up very heavy loans. Also could show issues related to your heart region, to your lungs, right? So one has to be careful regarding their health issues. A good way to tackle this energy could be to practice breathing exercises, because this shows some indication towards your heart health, towards your lung health, etc. So to practice breathing exercises can throughout, if you keep practicing, it will be a good way to tackle this energy. Meditating, keeping yourself calm, is also a good way to tackle this energy, because when the sixth lord comes into the fourth house, your mental peace, you are never at ease as such. You always worried, you don't know how to let go, and somebody or the other constantly keeps and knocking your doors with problems. Then the sixth lord in the fifth house. When the sixth lord comes to the fifth house, this could show, for the fifth house, I would say that there is some amount of damage. Some good significations can get marred with the placement of the sixth lord in the fifth house. So, difficulty in uh, getting progeny, difficulty in conception, there could be frequent health issues, right? So for women especially, I've seen that generally some kind of complicated medical procedure is required, or there's a lot of delay in getting progeny, or you have to resort to means like IVF or other things, complicated medical procedures to have a child. So constant medical help is required while you are expecting, while you are pregnant, and before that as well. So difficulty in having children, or the life of your children is also full of challenges. So your children also have health issues, or there is some constant challenges going on with your children. Also, this shows breaks or fights with your love interest. So these people usually have a very tough time carrying on with the love affair, carrying on with the romantic liaison, because they pick up fights very quickly, or they are very argumentative, or they are very short tempered, because of which their partner walks away. So breaks in love affair, heartbreaks, this could also show a very pessimistic approach towards things, towards matters of the heart. So they don't want to engage only with anybody sometimes, right? So this could also show, since the sixth house is also your house of prarabdh, this could show a past life connection with your children. So this, I'm not saying it's bad. It could be very good. It could be very bad also. When the right time comes, when the right dashas run, you hear something very major from your children. It could be good, it could be bad, anything. So I'm not talking about the positives or the negatives here. But this shows a very strong connection with your children. Then, sixth lord in the sixth house. When the sixth lord comes to the sixth house, it becomes very powerful. It is sitting in its own house of growth, also a Trik Bhava. So here one can face a lot of competition. So whatever you want to achieve, you have to face a lot of difficulty, lot of competition, lot of hurdles to finally achieve what you want. So your opposition is always very strong. If you have any enmity with a person, so that person could be a very strong person, shows a very powerful enemy also. But at the same point in time, it also shows that you are also very powerful, you are also quite courageous to fight off any problems which come up. You can fight up illnesses very well, you can fight off any legal issues pretty well, right? So, and especially if the sixth lord gets some good aspect, or is placed very well inside the in the sixth house itself, then all these positive things can play up, right? So you can overcome debt, you can overcome diseases, you can overcome oppositions, legal troubles easily. But if it is sitting in the sixth house and is badly afflicted, then in such a case it shows the opposite, right? Bad health, financial problems, financial crunch, etc. This also shows a person who can serve others well. Sixth house is also the house of seva, or serving others. So this shows somebody who can serve others well, or who can do good service. So good for someone who's employed, who's doing a job as such, who's serving somebody else, who's connected, with such professions of serving others. Then the sixth lord in the seventh house. Sixth lord, though, when it goes to the seventh house, it is coming to the Kendra Bhava, but there's some damage which it will give to the seventh house. One could be facing difficulties in getting married, or there are legal troubles in your marriage. And especially if, as I said, the seventh house is also afflicted, the karka of marriage, Venus, is also under affliction, is badly damaged in D1, D9, etc. Both these charts, then in such a case, this becomes a very difficult placement. There are obstacles, you are not able to get married on time, and even if you do, there are constant problems in your marriage, there are fights within the marriage. You could get a spouse who's very argumentative, who's very short tempered, likes to pick up fights. The spouse could be constantly battling health issues, or this could also show a spouse who's very competitive in nature. Could be someone who's in the medical profession, who's in the legal profession, who's employed somewhere in a serving capacity, right? But usually, if there is even the slightest affliction to this placement, I've seen that this damages the marriage, damages your partnerships also. So one has to be very careful here. Usually the best remedy for this is to be busy yourself, right? So do not interfere too much with your partner's professional life, do not interfere too much, do not be a nagging spouse. It's better to live and let live. So you do enjoy your common space, but do not be too nagging about very small minor issues, like minor day-to-day expenses, or very minor food habits, etc. Basic things can trigger problems. So it's better to let go of the small things, just concentrate on the bigger picture and give each other some space. This will also work out better if your spouse or you yourself are constantly traveling. So if there's some distance, there's some physical distance which keeps coming between you two, then also this the maleficence of this energy can come down. Sixth lord in the eighth house. Two Trik bhavas get connected. Also forms a Viprit Rajyog. Shows that You have to constantly struggle through life. You have to constantly beat competition. There are a lot of obstacles which will keep coming, and only then will you attain success. So this becomes a difficult placement for many, for majority of the people. Again, depends if the lagna is strong, if the lagnesh is strong, if your moon is very well placed, then in such a case you have the required courage, or you have that level of resilience to carry on through a lot of problems. But otherwise this shows a very difficult placement. It's a difficult placement in terms of your relations with your in-laws also, especially like in the Indian scene. If a lady, a woman has this placement, it shows difficulties in settling down after marriage, because you have constant differences, conflicts with your husband's family, with your in-laws. It also shows that a lot of effort is required in carrying out your higher studies like research, R&D, your PhD, etc. requires a lot of effort, requires a lot of struggle. But on the other hand, this could also show somebody who is very good at digging down deep into matters, so has investigative nature, has is involved in investigating things, is involved in deep research and analysis. So if your daily routine, if your daily job requires these kind of things, then this energy can be spent like this. But for this placement, I would say the Lagna and the Moon have to be really strong for you to get some relief from the negativity of this particular placement. This placement also shows difficulty in acquiring your inheritance. So there could be a long drawn legal battle when it comes to inheritance, or there could be a long pending legal conflict which you have to deal with. If you fall sick, then your disease can become a very chronic disease. So for this person, this native has to be very watchful of their health. You have to be very health conscious, so that you can avoid the maleficence which comes to your health. Sixth lord in the ninth house. Now this shows a placement which is okay for the sixth house, but it damages the ninth house to some extent. Damages in the sense that you could have conflicts with your father, you don't share a very good relationship with your father, you are in constant conflicts with your teachers, and it starts very early on, right from the school level, school, colleges, and thereafter. So anybody who's at a higher place of authority than you have that constant struggle. Your motivation can go down, because of this constant struggle you are at the wrong ends with your father, with your teachers. So lack of guidance sometimes, lack of motivation. Then this also shows that there could be obstacles in acquiring higher education. So you want to go out, but you want to go abroad, you want to go out to acquire higher education, but there are constant problems. There's financial issues, you have to take up loans, heavy loans can be taken. So there's a lot of tough competition which you have to deal with, and usually these people also have a tendency to take up something like this. They will deal with a lot of competition while acquiring education. So they will keep appearing for a lot of competitive exams also. These natives also have a lot of difficulty in following the path of religion, following the path of dharma. So religion is a smaller term, I would say, following the path of dharma as such. So staying on the track which is supposed to be becomes a challenge. There could be conflicts with some people who are in the law and order. So conflicts with the government, conflicts with the authorities. But when you get sick, when you have health issues, this could show that your health issues get resolved faster. You get help quickly. because the ninth house is involved. Ninth house is the house of Bhagya. So by your luck, by your fortune, you get good medical help. You constantly keep struggling, but at the nth hour, at the last moment, you get good care. Or you're able to beat through. You're able to beat through a disease, you're able to beat through a competition also. Sixth lord in the 10th house. So when the sixth lord goes to the 10th house, it goes to the karma sthan. It goes to another artha house and a trine from itself. So good for the sixth, not so good for the 10th house. Why? Because you constantly face obstacles, challenges at workplace. You take up a profession which is very challenging. You get employed rather than doing something of your own. You generally get employed with some organization. So you have a good sense of serving, good sense of service. You're very hardworking in your profession. Your profession, your work takes up a major part of your life. So sometimes your professional life takes up so much that your personal life suffers. Because you're always busy, always on your toes. Others might be working for 8 hours, you will end up working for 12 hours. So your work environment is very challenging, your bosses are demanding, your bosses are very competitive, and the work environment is such that you are also very competitive. This also shows frequent clashes with the bosses. So your higher authorities are very argumentative or so competitive or so ambitious that sometimes there are clashes. You get into clashes with them. These people sometimes have a tough time getting the required or getting the due name and fame which they deserve. So they put in a lot of hard work, but they don't get the same. Right? So shows a little difficult placement in terms of your profession, very competitive environment, and your professional life will take out the major chunk of your life. Right? Then the sixth lord in the 11th house. Sixth lord, when it goes to the 11th house, it is going to another Upchaya Bhava, and it is going sixth from itself. So it is going into the higher note of itself as per the principle of Bhavat Bhavam. Right? So here, this again makes a kind of Vipreet Rajyog also. Sixth lord, 6 places from itself. It shows opposition within the social circle, or difficulties in your professional circles, your networks, fights. You get into a legal problem with somebody who's in your social circle, or there's a legal conflict with your elder sibling. The 11th house denotes your elder sibling also. So your social circle can become a source of problem, can become a source of trouble for you also. Or you are moving around in a circle which is very competitive. Cutthroatism. So that, you're very materialistic. The social circle is very materialistic, and there's a lot of cutthroatism. Sometimes there could be a lot of showing off also. So you're constantly acquiring more and more material things. A lot of struggles overall in achieving your desires also, in fulfilling your desires. So this is a difficult placement. This is a difficult placement in terms of your health issues also. Because this shows that the malefic houses are getting a lot of strength. So for health, a lot of obstacles can come up. And especially if the dasha of the sixth lord also starts running, then health issues can get created. So overall, this is a good placement for wealth, for material growth, but not a very good placement for health issues. Then the sixth lord in the 12th house. The sixth lord, when it goes to the 12th house, it goes to another Trik Bhava, and from there, the sixth lord is aspecting the sixth house. So this shows a strengthened sixth house. Your daily routine, your daily schedule requires a lot of moving around, going away from home. So your job entails frequent travels, frequent stays away from home. You go to faraway places. You keep traveling outside the country very, very frequently. Or you're connected with an MNC, you're connected with an organization which works overseas, sends you on overseas assignments time and again. You are in the, if the seventh house is also involved, you could be working in export and import. So, frequent foreign connections. Your daily routine requires dealing with a lot of foreign element. So you could be, if whatever work you're doing, you are either dealing with a foreign with a foreign crowd, with a foreign language, or something which does not belong to your motherland, right? There could be trouble in resting, trouble in sleeping, a malefic house lord going into another malefic house, and that too the house which shows sleep. Your sleep could be disturbed, especially if it is a malefic. So, trouble in falling asleep, insomnia, trouble in your feet region. So, your legs, your feet. There's some medical issues with your feet. This also shows that uh, you're constantly struggling with the expenditures you have. 12th house is a house of Vyay. So when an Artha house lord, that is the sixth house lord, goes to the 12th house, it shows heavy expenditure also. So in your daily routine, you deal with large amounts of cash. That could also be an indication. Otherwise, you deal with a lot of cash outflow. Your expenditures sometimes just go beyond the normal limits, right? So that was about the sixth lord in various houses and all the 12 bhavas in your horoscope. This was again a general indication of the placement. I'll be talking about the other layer, that is the planets which are involved also in here in these placements in the subsequent videos. And I'll see you very soon in my next video where I'll talk about the placement of the seventh lord. Till then, take care and goodbye.